Okay. Hare Krishna. Let's start with Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Jaya Radha Madhava
Kunja
Bihari
Bihari. Gopi Janalabha Girivaradhari Jaya
Jaya
Gopi
Gopi
Janalabha
Janalabha Girivaradhari
Gauranandana Jaganaranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo
Nitai
Nitai
Gaura
Gaura
Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura
Hari
Haribo.
Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Gaura Premanande Hari
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 Bol.
all glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Vasudevaya.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna, everyone. Today we're reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, the Creative Impetus, Chapter 5, Lord Rishabhdev's teachings to his sons. And today is verse 32. And we'll try our best to get through the recitation, because it won't be exactly to a melody, but that's okay. Please recite with me. Yarhi vavasa bhagavan lokamimam
Yarhi vavasa bhagavan lokamimam
yogashyada pratipam ivakshanastat
yoga shada pratipam iva chakshanas
pratikriya karma vibhasitamiti
tat pratikriya karma vivasitam iti
vratam ajagaram astitaha sayana
व्रतमाज कर्मा स्थितः शयान
eva snati pibati khadati avamihati
ajaram
एवाश्नाति
astita shayana iva snati
adati shma chestamana ucharita adik dodeshaha
vivati
प्रति स स्म चेष्टमान उच्चरित
Vivati
आदितो देशः
Haribo, I'm not having much success in this. Please chant if you would like to.
Yarhi Bhavasa Bhagwan Lokam
Was not
Imam
wanting to go.
यदि
Not wanting to
वासा
go.
भगवान
And
लोकम
last week also he didn't
Oh,
go
Haribo,
completely.
somebody's
Yeah,
talking.
like he is this morning.
Sorry.
He just cried a bit. So I was there. I said,
Can we block whoever's talking?
you otherwise he'll continue to do it.
What's going on? Mute, mute, mute.
Tat Pratikriya Karma Vivashitam Iti
प्रतिक्रिया कर्म विभत्सित इतमति
Pratam Ajagaram Asthita Shayana Evashnati
व्रतमाज गर्मा स्थित शयान एवाश्नाति
Vivati Khadate Avmehti Hadati Sma
पिबति
Pibati
खडात्यव
avamehende.
महेति हदति स्म
Chesta Mana Uchrita Agi Gadodadeshaha
स्म चेष्टमान उच्चरित आदिग्धो देश यर्हि वावस भगवान् लोकमिमं योगस्य
Yarhi
Yari
Bhavasa
bhavasa
Bhagavan Lokam
bhagavanokam yogasyarha
Imam
अद्धा प्रतीपमिव आचक्षाणः
Ada Pratipam
pratipamiva chakshanastat pratikriya.
क- कर्माभि बिभत्सेतम् इति व्रतमाजगर
Karma Vivastitam Iti Vratam Ajagaram
आस्थितः शयान एवाश्नाति
Ashtita
Astita
Shayana
sayana eva shnati.
पिबति खादत्यव महे मेहति हदति स्म
Vivati Kadate
Hariya
Amameti
vimhati harati
हदति
shma.
स्म चेष्टमान उच्चरित आदिग्धो देशः
Cheta
Mana Uchrita
ucharita
Adita
adigodo.
Udecha
हरे कृष्णा थैंक
Hare
यू
Krishna. Thank you. We'll move to word for word. Yari vava.
Yahi Bhava
When?
when
Saha.
Saha
He.
He
Bhagavan.
Bhagwan,
The personality of Godhead.
the personality of Godhead.
Lokam.
Lokam,
The people in general.
the people in general.
Imam.
Imam,
This.
this.
yogasya,
yogasya,
to the performance of yoga,
to the performance of yoga,
adha,
ada,
directly,
directly,
pratipam,
pratipam,
antagonistic,
antagonistic,
iva,
iva,
like,
like
achakshanaha,
Chakshana,
achakshanaha,
observed,
observe,
observed,
tat,
that,
of that,
of
of
that,
that,
pratikriya,
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 for counteraction,
for
for
counteraction,
counteraction,
karma,
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 activity,
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 bibhatsitam,
bibhasitam,
sitam,
abominable,
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 iti,
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 das,
thus,
vratam,
pratam,
vratam,
the behavior,
the
the
behavior,
behavior,
ajagaram,
ajagna,
ajagaram,
of a python to stay in one place,
of a
of a
python,
python to stay in one place,
ashtitaha,
astitaha,
taha,
accepting,
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 shayanaha,
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 lying down,
lying
lying
down,
down,
eva,
eva,
indeed,
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 ashnati,
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 eats,
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 pibati,
vibhati,
pivati,
drinks,
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 khadati,
hadati,
hadati,
chews,
chews,
avamihati,
ava,
avamehati,
mehati,
passes urine,
passes
passes
urine,
urine,
hadati,
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 passes stool,
passes
passes
to
to,
shma,
sma,
sma,
das,
thus,
thus,
chesta manaha,
chesta,
chestamanaha,
manaha,
rolling,
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 ucharite,
ucharite,
charite,
in the stool and urine,
in the
in
stool
the
and
stool and
urine,
urine,
adigdha,
adik,
udeshaha,
adiktaha,
adigdha uddeshaha,
his
udeshaha,
body thus smeared.
his
his body
body
was
thus
smeared.
smeared.
Translation, please repeat. When Lord Rishabhadev
When
When
Lord
Lord
Vishnu
Rishabhadev
saw that the general populace
saw
saw
that the
that the
general
general
populace
populace
was very antagonistic
was
was
very
very
antagonistic
antagonistic
to his execution of mystic yoga,
to
to
his
his
execution of
execution of
mystic
mystic
yoga,
yoga,
he accepted the behavior
he
he
accepted the
accepted the
behavior
behavior
of a python
of a
of a
python
python
in order to counteract
in
in
order to
order to
counteract
counteract
their opposition.
their
their
opposition.
opposition.
Thus he stayed in one place
Thus
Thus
he
he
stayed in
stayed
one
in one place
place
and lay down.
and lay down.
and lay down.
While lying down,
While
While
lying
lying down,
down,
he ate and drank,
he
he
ate and
ate and drank,
drank,
and he passed stool
and he
and he
passed
passed
too,
stool
and urine and rolled in it.
and
and
urine
urine
and
and rolled in
rolled
it.
in it.
Indeed, he smeared his whole body
Indeed, he
Indeed,
smeared
he
his whole
smeared his
body
whole body
with his own stool
with
with
his
his
own
own
stool
stool
and urine,
and urine,
urine,
so that opposing elements
so that
so
opposing
that
elements
opposing elements
might not come and disturb
might,
him.
might not come and
and
disturb
disturb
him.
him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare
Purport,
Krishna.
please hear.
Hare Krishna.
According to one's destiny, one enjoys allotted happiness and distress, even though one keeps himself in one place. This is the injunction of the sastras. When one is spiritually situated, he may stay in one place, and all his necessities will be supplied by the arrangement of the Supreme Controller. Unless one is a preacher, there is no need to travel all over the world. A person can stay in one place and execute devotional service suitably according to time and circumstance. When Rishabhadev saw that he was simply being disturbed by traveling throughout the world, he decided to lie down and lie down in one place, like a python. Thus he ate, drank, and he passed stool and urine and smeared his body with them so that people would not disturb him. Om Gyantimirandasya Janatana Salakaya Chakshul Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatati Satarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome everyone, welcome to class, and thank you all for making time to attend. It's always very much an honor to try and glorify Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So for that, I'm extremely grateful for this service, and therefore I ask for your blessings and also your forgiveness if any mistakes are made or offenses. So we'll start with that translation again. When Lord Rishabhadev saw that the general populace was very antagonistic to his execution of mystic yoga, he accepted the behavior of a python in order to counteract their opposition. Thus he stayed in one place and lay down. While lying down, he ate and drank, and he passed stool and urine and rolled in it. Indeed, he smeared his whole body with his own stool and urine so that opposing elements might not come and disturb him. And in this verse, we see people are not at all pleased with Lord Rishabhadev practicing this far out looking mystic yoga. He was looking so disheveled, disturbed, so in rebellion to them, to completely disregard them. Lord Rishabhadev behaved like a python, like a snake. He then became still and lay down, and while there lying on the ground, he ate and drank nicely, and he passed stool and urine, and he rolled in it too. He even went so far as to smear himself entirely in this stool and urine, in total rebellion or opposition to everyone, all those around him who were simply disturbing him. So we see Lord Rishabhadev has completed his occupational duty insofar as he's instructed his 100 sons so nicely, and he's asked that they follow Bharata Maharaj in his leadership of the planet now, and that his sons who are Brahmanas will counsel and serve Bharata very nicely. And then, of course, this is all a very thorough demonstration of Varnashram. So now that he's completed his duties as such, he is now, instead of perhaps going to the forest, he's still very much renounced, incredibly renounced. And in fact, Rishabhadev, as we've heard in previous classes, that kind of level of supreme renouncement is also a valid pathway for Jains, who are very attracted to that type of austerity in their worship. So now the king, upon leaving his kingdom, and he's wandering the world with this supreme renunciation, and we've learnt that he's actually taken the yagya, or the sacrificial fire of devotion, deeply to within himself, within his heart, internally. And now we see that through his throes of this practice of divine austerity, that he is outwardly taken on this appearance of an avadhuta, or in in today's words, we would, not even today's words, in historical English, we would use the word vagabond. Today it would be like a homeless person. He was looking like a homeless person, and he was behaving outwardly like a madman to those around him. And he is, in fact, as we know, actually always internally meditating upon the Lord. So that's the scene. Outwardly, he looks kind of far out, but internally, the supreme example of a renunciate who is meditating within, upon the Lord within himself. And prior to this current state, Lord Rishabhadev was actually the most handsome of men. His usual outward physical appearance is actually very attractive. He is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu himself. So naturally, he's normally extremely striking in appearance. But now what we see before us, or what is being described here, is this vagabond, this homeless-looking madman. And just to do away with those who are opposing him, annoying him, and his meditation, in defiance of that, he's now staying still and becoming a snake, rolling around on the ground. And he's done all of this just to remain undisturbed by these others. Lord Rishabhadev is wanting to be solitary and alone in his practice, and he's wanting this peace from others, whilst he is internally fiercely engaged in worship and meditating upon the Supreme. So in preparation for today's class, Her Grace Narani Mataji asked that I look at the example of one of our own acharyas, Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji, who is also an extreme renunciate, and the Guru Maharaj of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So today I thought to use some of our time in class, in fact the majority of our time in class, to read aloud and glorify Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji. And in my telling of his story, we'll also hear and learn of some of the unbelievable measures of renunciation that he took. And as I say, that'll be the bulk of our class today, but we'll end with a brief comparison of Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji's renunciation, his practice, versus a modern day devotee and a modern day austerity and renunciation that we all practice to varying degrees here within ISKCON, within our own immediate spiritual community. So, Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji. Hold on, let me try something here. I tried to, not sure if this is going to work. Let me try. I thought it would be helpful if we all just had a quick look at this Maharaj. Just a minute. So, I don't know if that worked. I don't think it did. Where are we? Here we are. Whoopsie daisy. Did that work? Hold on. Anyway, we all know him from our, we all know him from our altars. But anyway, here he is. This is Gaura Kishora Das Babaji. And if we all look on our altar at the temple or in our own homes, we'll see him there amongst our Guru Parampara. So sorry, this is really for my purification. I know the devotees know our Guru Parampara back to front, but this is for my learning. So thank you very much for sharing in my journey. Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji, in 1849, Srila Gaura Kishora Das Babaji left Grihastha life after the death of his wife, and he moved to Vrindavan and took initiation from Sri Bhagavat Das Babaji, a disciple of Sri Jagannath Das Babaji. For over 30 years, Gaura Kishora Das stayed in Vrindavan, performing bhajan under the trees at Giri Govardhan, Nandagrama, Vashana, Radhakund, Suryakund, Raval, and Gokul. Sitting in seclusion, he chanted 200,000 names of Krishna every day, or 128 rounds of japa. He felt painful separation from Radha Govinda and cried profusely. As he wandered through the Dvadas Vana, the 12 forests of Raj, he would loudly chant the holy names in a deep voice, full of lamentation. He would also relish the following bhajan. Kotai go prema mai radhe radhe, radhe radhe go jai radhe radhe, dekha diya prana rako radhe radhe, tomar kangal tomai dakhe radhe radhe, radhe vrindavana vilasini radhe radhe, radhe kanu mano mohini radhe radhe, radhe asta sakir siromani radhe radhe, Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. O Radhe Radhe, where are you, O goddess of ecstatic love? O Radhe Radhe, all glories to you, O Radhe Radhe. O Radhe Radhe, please show yourself to me and thereby maintain my life. Your most despicable fallen servant calls out to you, O Radhe Radhe. O Radhe, O artful enjoyer of Vrindavan. O Radhe Radhe, O Radhe, O enchantress of Kanu, Krishna's mind. O Radhe Radhe. O Radhe, O crest jewel of your 8 main girlfriends. O Radhe Radhe. O Radhe, O delightful daughter of Maharaj Vrishabhanu. O Radhe Radhe. Srila Babaji Maharaj's mood of renunciation was unparalleled. Sometimes he ate mud from the banks of the Radhakund or the Jamuna, or other times he took a madhukari from the Vrajavasis. Madhukari is a Babaji's daily practice of begging a little food from one to 7 houses. Just as a bee collects a drop of honey from each flower. He saw all the Vrajavasis, the residents of Vrindavan, as being the direct personal associates of Radha and Krishna. As a result of this vision, he would pay respects to every person, cow, animal, bird, tree, creeper, insect, ant, in the holy Dham. While staying in Vashana, he made a flower garland every day for Rai and Kanu, Radha Krishna. After 30 years of rendering intimate services to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, Babaji felt inspired by the divine couple to go see Sri Navadvip. He visited all the Leela sthanas of Lord Gauranga in Gaura Mandala. In Navadvip, he used to sing one bhajana, which means, by receiving Nitai's mercy, one gets Gauranga's mercy, which makes one eligible for Krishna Prem. With Krishna Prem, one can attain the service of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Gaura Kishore Das Babaji was the embodied form of Sri Rupa Raghunath's renunciation. Jai. Completely detached, he would wash discarded cloth to cover his body. He drank from a rejected clay pot, parched rice mix, and Ganges water, or simply some mud from the Ganga's bank, sustained his life. Far out. And he carried 2 books written by Sri Narottam Das Thakur, Pratana Prema Bhakti Chandrika. On Ekadashi, he didn't eat or drink a drop of water. Today's Ekadashi. Recognizing him to be a Maha Bhagavat. Many tried to serve him, but he never accepted. Regularly, he associated with and heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda in Svananda Sukhara Kunj in Godrumadweep, constantly absorbed in bhajan. Srila Babaji Maharaj had no desire to make disciples. On the request of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, however, he reconsidered. Upon seeing the true humility and deep attachment of Thakur Bhaktivinoda's son for bhajan, Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji accepted one disciple, Sri Vasha Banavi Daita Das, aka Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. To keep mundane people from approaching him for material boons, he once resided in the lavatories. Etta Kulya Dharmashala in Koladweep for 6 months. When public officials came offering to build him a proper bhajan kutir, Babaji Maharaj locked himself inside and said he already had one. He believed that associating with materialistic people was much worse than the smell of stool in the latrine. Far out. Gaurakishore Das Babaji advised a Calcutta doctor who wanted to open a free clinic in Navadvip Dham. If you really want to live in Navadvip Dham, then give up your desire to run a free clinic for healing sense enjoyers. If you want to render substantial service, then renounce everything except what promotes Hari Bhajana. All other kinds of duties and services simply bind one to the ghastly cycle of karmic reactions. Babaji Maharaj spoke gravely to a newly married man. A Vaishnava wife is extremely rare and difficult to find in this world. If one has the good fortune of having one, he should see it as a benediction from Krishna. The wife worships the husband as her Lord and Master. Similarly, the husband should worship the wife because she is Krishna Dasi, a servant of Krishna. In this way, the husband can protect his devotional enthusiasm by not considering his wife to be his maidservant, but she is always the maidservant of Krishna. One who wants bhojana, eating palatably, will spoil his bhajana. This was a favorite quote of Srila Babaji Maharaj. In other words, eating here and there simply to gratify the tongue, bhojana, destroys any attempts to worship Krishna, bhajana. Once a devotee ate some festival prasadam in his bhajana kutir, and Babaji Maharaj would not speak to him for 3 days. On the 4th day he said, "You accepted festival prasadam given by low-class harlots and beautiful women. Because you took food without considering its origin, your bhajana is useless." The essence of Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji's instructions. The divine name of Krishna offers the one and only shelter. One should never try to remember Radha Damodar's transcendental pastimes by artificial methods. Constant chanting of the divine names will purify the heart. By chanting Harinam, the symbols of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, will gradually reveal the spiritual form, qualities, pastimes of Sri Krishna. Then you will realize your own eternal spiritual form. service, and the 11 particulars of your spiritual identity. In pursuance of Babaji Maharaj's statement, drag my dead body through the streets of Navadvip, a group of so-called advanced devotees proposed to commit the said sacrilege. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, however, challenged them. According to Sastra, one who has had carnal association with a loose woman within the last 24 hours is contaminated and therefore not qualified to touch my Guru Maharaj, he said. Hearing this bold statement, the black-hearted Brahmanas made a hasty retreat. On 19 November 1915, Srila Gaurakishora Das Babaji Maharaj joined the eternal blissful pastime of Gandhavika Giridhari. Gandhavika Giridhari. His beloved disciple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, established his samadhi on the banks of Sri Chaitanya Math's Radha Kund, near Lord Chaitanya's Yogapith in Sri Dham, Mayapur. And in Vraj Leela, he serves Srimati Radharani as Guna Manjari. His Pushpa Samadhi stands beside the Radha Kunj Bihari Gaudiya Math near Radha Kund. So I think I repeated myself there. Srila Babaji Maharaj's mood of renunciation was unparalleled. I've read this before and I'm going to read it again. Srila Babaji Maharaj's mood of renunciation was unparalleled. Sometimes he ate mud from the banks of Radhakund or the Jamuna. Other times he took madhukari from the Vrajavasis. Then this madhukari is the Babaji's daily practice of begging for food, for a little food from these houses, just as a bee collects a drop of honey from each flower. He saw all the Vrajavasis, all of these residents in Vrindavan, as being non-different as the direct personal associates of Radha and Krishna. So beautiful. So beautiful is that, and I'm so sorry, I should have mentioned that reading is actually an article from one of our bona fide websites. I think it is from ISKCON Desire. But yes, it was a brief article written a wee while ago and posted by a very lovely devotee for all of us to now learn from. And of course, the example that Narayani Mataji gave, and even Bhavamai Mataji mentioned the other day, was simply this act of him being able to chant, lock himself away in a lavatory or a latrine or a toilet, the most muchiest of places. And here is this most renounced devotee chanting in the toilet. So that was the example. But in my research of trying to find that example, I came across that article and naturally had to share it in its entirety. So yes, an extremely renounced acharya. And so I thought to speak on the difference now. So what is the difference now between this type of divine austerity, this type of extreme renunciation, like that of Srila Gaurakishora Das Babaji Maharaj, and like that of Lord Rishabhadev today, who is like a python? Well, the difference is that in this day and age, in this age of Kali Yuga, the recommended practice is to chant the Mahamantra and to chant the Lord's holy names. Devotees of this high caliber and of these other times and places, they can demonstrate such surrender and renunciation by looking disheveled and acting strangely and rolling around in stool and urine. But clearly, And very seriously, that's not the methodology, the modality for us. No, today in this day and age, we preach. Modern devotees who have had a taste of the shelter of the holy names, who have chanted a little bit and have understood that it has started to transform them on the inside, then the external practice becomes one of preaching. So we're not about to superficially and ridiculously imitate such a level of surrender and renunciation as mystic yogis could do, and Lord Rishabhadev is doing. No, we don't do that. We don't imitate these mystical behaviors. Because why? Because it would look cheap. It would look cheap and insincere. And at best, you would look like a homeless person. And at worst, you would find yourself on a psychiatric ward because people would think you are suffering severe mental illness. So no, preachers, we don't behave like that. Clearly not. What do we do instead? We go out on Harinam. This is the practice of renunciation of the world. This is how we show this world means nothing to us. Well, it does, to a degree. You know what I mean. This is the practice for modern day devotees. It's the practice of our bhakti yoga. And if we want to be all external about how we might show that, then it is in our acts of devotion. So we can, one very extreme act of externally showing your devotion would be a really raucous and loud Harinam in the streets of a city or your town, wherever you live, and you leading it. And of course, there are these other acts of devotion I mentioned earlier, Ekadashi. It's Ekadashi today. And special festival days, yes, of course. We practice extra austerity. We chant a little extra. We'll fast from grains. We might recite extra rounds. So there is a level of renunciation that's already built in to our everyday bhakti practice, with things like following fasting, different types of fasting on different days, clearly. But what I wanted to get to is some devotees can't do all the fasts and all the Ekadashis. I'm one. I have physical ailments, a physical health condition. On some days, I can't fast because of the medication I take. But if I want to feel particularly renounced or, partake of a particular austerity, which I think demonstrates outwardly to everyone that I am actually a renunciate, it would be one of Harinam. It would be one of Sankirtan. It would be one of going out into the streets and singing loudly and distributing books. So this is how we can actively participate in devotional service and this Hare Krishna movement. It's very simple. We simply preach and we proactively spread this bhakti yoga to all and sundry. This is, after all, a preaching movement, and our sacrifice to keep promoting this Krishna consciousness movement is to go out on Harinam and Sankirtan and spread the message of the holy names of the Lord, as taught to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So there's no need for us to grow dreadlocks and to waste away and look emaciated and wear a little loincloth. No, we are followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we go out onto the streets and we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we give this Krishna consciousness to others. You see, Lord Chaitanya unlocked this chanting of the holy names and this devotional service throughout India. All castes he wanted chanting. That was his preaching mission. And then later on, Srila Prabhupada, he unlocked this practice of chanting the Mahamantra and this devotional service for us here in the West. This is his preaching mission. And as such, for all of us paid up, card-carrying members of this International Society of Krishna Consciousness, it is our duty to do the same, to preach this same message and encourage others to also chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if you can't preach, you support those who can. You don't have to lead kirtan or go out on Harinam yourself if you can't, but at least try and be supportive. And if you can't lead, then be there playing some kartals and chanting in the background. And be there to help give out the books and give out the cards with the Mahamantra on it and our little bits of prasadam. This is how we show our renunciation from this material world in the here and now. This is how we can renounce our material, mundane, self-centered lives. It's with this actively preaching. Preach this message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of Srila Prabhupada, our Jagat Guru. It's really so simple and so purifying, yeah? We know this to be a fact. We've all participated. We've all felt internal change. We've all understood some purification is occurring for us. So don't be selfish about it now, devotees. These acharyas, Lord Rishabhadev, who have set out this example of devotional life, of varnashram, of being of this world and still being a renunciate. So how do we see, if we're just of this world and going about our own business every day and chanting quietly to ourselves, okay, that can be done. You can have your own singular sit down by yourself bhajan, sure. But this movement is based on one where it is an external bhajan for everybody, for everybody. So the mood is one of preaching. The mood is one of giving the Mahamantra to everyone we meet. The mood is one of Harinam on the streets, giving books. Yes, we can stay at home and have a quiet life. And I could see out the rest of my days here on planet Earth quite nicely. At home, chanting quietly. I'd be a bit bored, but I'd be okay with that, sure. But that's not the practice for ISKCON, Hare Krishna devotees who follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who follow Srila Prabhupada. So if we want to get extreme with some of these renunciations, austerities as such, we don't want to look like a madman. We want to look like a put together group of loving devotees who are organized enough to have a book table and who are organized enough to sing sweetly together. And that's our preaching. So when I think about these renunciates of past times, of past eras, of bygone days, I'm still inspired, incredibly inspired by their love and devotion, by their commitment, by their purification, by their single-minded focus on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, weight could be lost. They can go without food and water. They can eat mud. They can lie in stool. No problem. Because that's their level of commitment to the Lord. My level is nowhere near that. I do have some love for the Lord. It's very burgeoning. It's very small. So when we talk about fanning the fire of devotion in the heart, then really the way to do that is to be public with your love for the Lord. Yeah? No holds barred. Not in a crazy mental way. In a beautiful Vaishnava way of preaching. Supporting the preachers. Supporting the book distributors. Supporting the spread of this movement. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted. And the problem is, I think if we all stay home a little too long and a little too quiet on our own, we just end up getting judgmental of other devotees. Whereas if you're actively preaching, if you're busy out on the streets, making programs, you see the Northside devotees. Northside devotees have opened up a little program. And we have other centers, Burbank, we have our own ISKCON temple, we have centers, right? Now, how do these centers appear? Is it magic? Or is it a hardcore devotee who's been in the movement for 10, 20, 30, 50 years even? Yes, it's that level of devotee who are going out and opening up centers, starting programs, not staying at home and just being niggly with one another, nitpicking, finding fault. Why? Because you are very experienced devotees. Once you reach a certain level, go. Spread this movement. I have these health issues. So, but interestingly enough, I actually thought when I was in Rarotonga for a holiday a while ago, I actually thought, man, if Srila Prabhupada was alive, I'd beat you, because he would know my Pacific Island heritage. I bet you he would have said something like, Jamuna, go Krishnafy Rarotonga. Go set up, make a temple. Go open a temple. Take your husband. Go. Yes. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. But I do have this health issue. And as much as I'd like to see out my retirement in Rarotonga, I'm bound to the hospitals here in Queensland and Brisbane. So I have to stay here. Here's my bhajana. But I don't want to stay at home just by myself, chanting quietly to myself. How does that help anybody else? That just helps me, right? So the limit, I suppose, that I personally have is something like Harinam, which is why I say this is a Harinam book distribution, promulgating this ISKCON, this Hare Krishna movement, promoting it to all and sundry. That's how I can show a level of my renunciation from the external world. And so that's what I based my class on. So today we spoke about Lord Rishabhadev, who is lying down like a python. He's this avaduta. And we have devotees like that within our own lineage. within our own Guru Parampara are also examples of devotees of this caliber who followed extreme renunciation, but who also thankfully managed to continue the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by being the guru and instructing Diksha Guru of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So we have a lot to be grateful to for this Acharya, and also from Lord Rishabhdev's teachings today. But then also a moment I would suggest for us to reflect on our own personal renunciation, how we may wish to demonstrate this outwardly to others. So in there, thank you all very much. If there are any questions or comments, please contribute. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Jamuna.
Haribo
Thank you
Mataji.
very much for such a wonderful class, and especially reading and reminding us about Gaur Kishore Babaji. So now in this verse especially, we can see that how Rishwadev, that is mentioned especially, Ajgar Vritti, like a python, after he was traveling all over the world and so many people were treating like that, then he thought that he should sit at one place, and that's Ajgar Vritti. So sometimes we can see that we as devotees, as the time goes, we are not able to do so many things. Like for myself, my disability, I cannot really go and to participate. That people have to look after me. If I go there, I'll be a disturbance to them. So there are so many ways we can still do so many things. Like you can do online preaching if you can't go, and that's the best method I find within myself, that you can do that. Now in this verse, we cannot really imitate, or not we can even follow Rishwadev. So his process of self realization, like Ajgar Briti, we cannot follow that. But as we see that in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we have seen that I can mention if people want to read. Then in Canto 12, chapter 3, and it's 51, the Bhumi Gita. And here, Sukdev Goswami says, Kale dosha nide rajam, aste hi eko mahan guna, kirtanad eva krishnasya, mukta sangha param brajet. The meaning is, my dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So this is very important that we have to say. We don't have to imitate Rishwadev or even Haridas Thakur, but we can chant Hare Krishna mantra, spread Krishna consciousness, and you have said, and you are doing, Harinam Sankirtan, whatever your capacities, whatever you can do, we can do that. And we don't have to really try to imitate Rishwadeva, but because we are not qualified. Rishabdeva is the Supreme Personality of God Himself, and all the devotees like Haridas Thakur, and of course Gaur Kishore Babaji. So I just wanted to just share this one, that we should not feel sort of feeling down or depressed that I'm not able to do some things, but we can do that by your own example, people around you. So it's amazing how it works, that being yourself Krishna conscious, have faith, and follow Lord Chaitanya's message of spreading this Krishna conscious movement. Srila Prabhupada's example. So we can do wherever we are, in whatever situation we have. we can still preach Krishna consciousness.
So,
Thank you very much. Wonderful
thank you,
class.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I appreciate what you're saying is that as we grow older, we might feel less than because we're not as active in service and things. And yeah, as you say, with physical ailments. But you're right. The point is do something, anything. That's it. It's good enough, you know, especially if it's genuine. The intention is from the heart to love, to please the Lord. You know, if that is there, even a smidge of it, that's good. Doesn't matter what the external thing is. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Are there any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Shalendra here.
Haribol, Prabhuji.
Now we've been talking about this subject on imitation for the last few lessons.
Yes.
And a question comes to mind.
Yes.
If someone sees another person chanting rounds and he picks that up, he says, okay, I'm going to start chanting rounds. Would that be called imitation?
No.
What is the line? Where do you draw a line that this is not imitation and this
Chanting
is
rounds are a
imitation?
normal behavior. That's the normal thing, right? Being
But that's up to our
wild,
subjective.
like a wildly disinhibited Babaji who is like literally grown dreadlocks or rolling on the ground or doing some really far out stuff. We don't imitate that. That is clearly, if you want to do something that's outside of your normal behaviors, then that would be considered an imitation. You're imitating, you're pretending, because that's not your normal. I wouldn't normally roll around on the ground or, you know what I mean? But I can chant because I can speak. It's a normal part of the human body and function to be able to speak. I suppose the difference would be if you're chanting on beads, that might look a bit odd. And then imitating that, if you don't know what they're doing and the meaning behind it, then that would be a silly imitation, because then you are just copying something that you don't understand what they're doing. But ideally, when we preach, we preach in such a way that the person can understand what we're talking about and what we're trying to ask them to participate in. So yes, when we go out onto the streets and we ask people to chant, that's more of a fun kind of engagement, I suppose, with the public. But if we're going to chant on beads, and when we're instructing someone to chant on beads, then we'll teach them what the Maha Mantra is about, what these beads mean, and the reason behind the meditation practice, so that they're not imitating, so that they're not doing it in a dumb way, you know, without understanding. So that would be the difference, I think. What do you think, Prabhu?
So you saying that if someone is taught to do that, then it's not imitation. But if
Yeah.
someone picks up by its own consciousness, like
And not
not drinking or
understanding
not,
what they're doing,
but someone
then they're
doesn't
just
have to be,
imitating.
but someone doesn't have to be perfect
No,
knowledge.
exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And that's the perfection of this meditation. The intention doesn't have to be one of a learned Brahmana. The intention can be one of a really dum-dum who just likes the sound of the meter, just likes that way that person sang that, harmonized it quite nicely. And you know what? In my ignorance or innocence would be a nicer way to say it, I might harmonize along with you. And then boom, oh, I've accidentally got some spiritual benefit from that. I won't know it, of course. I won't know it. But even in not knowing the practice, there is benefit to be had. Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot subjective as well. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just thought of a point on this question. I was thinking, we have heard from Prabhupada that chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is like crying of a baby for their mother. So love for their origin, right? So whenever we are in difficulty, do we need our mother? Yes. So love for Godhead, that is inherent in all of us. So anukaran, imitation, means just copying the external behavior of something without internally reaching that consciousness. But chanting is calling out of a baby for their mother's love, and that love of Godhead is already there internally in all of us. That consciousness is already there. So when we are doing that, when we are copying that chanting, I don't think it's imitation, because it's already there in us. We have just forgotten that, and when we see somebody doing that, we are reminded of that and we immediately get attracted to that. So I think that is not imitation. That is, reminder of our original state. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Baba Mai. That's a really nice point. Thank you very, very much.
Hare Krishna, Jamuna.
Yeah.
I was just looking, one thing is that actually imitating is copying, is actually imitating an action. And following is imitating the principle behind the action. So that answer is from Google.
Sounds devotional to me.
So we have to follow the principle behind the action, and the principle behind the action is to become Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you very much. It's nice, you can hear, and Baba Mai's, explained everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is the question we can say, as Srila Prabhu asked, that when somebody is chanting and we start chanting, is it imitating, So
Yeah.
that question, many people, will ask that. But we have to find the difference between what is imitating and what is actually following.
Yeah.
We are following the footsteps of our great acharyas. We are not imitating them. We are not even qualified, because they were very, very exalted, jivas, or, souls. We can never imitate, but we can, like we say, we follow in the footsteps of our spiritual master. That doesn't mean that we are really that exalted, and that we can actually imitate them. No, we can't. So we have to follow their examples, and we have to follow what Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us. Kirtanaya Sadahari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. And yes, exactly what you said, and exactly what Baba Mai said, which is the engagement of feeling. Otherwise, it's dry, nothing. It can be imitation, it can be superficial. It's the feeling that we want to touch on. So if you're feeling good chanting, that's good. If you're remembering a mother's cry, that's a feeling. It's the feeling we want with that practice of chanting.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Haribol, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So actually, there is one more thing I just wanted to mention.
Yes.
Where we can actually clearly differentiate what is an imitation and following. Like what Madhav Prabhu said on Friday, that is one way to differentiate. Like, when you internally, when you are not something, but you are trying to follow, are trying to do other people's actions, that is an imitation. And there is there is another way also to clearly differentiate. What I think is, for sadhaka people like us, if we follow acharya's verbal instructions, that's probably following. And when we try to follow their behavior or actions, when we are actually not from inside, then that's an imitation. For example, yes, Srila Prabhupada says, live simply and chant 16 rounds and things like that. So it's a verbal instruction that taking up that instruction is following his orders, like in his instructions. But when I try to actually do how actually Prabhupada do it, like for example, sleeping. One may require enough sleep and then so live peacefully and chant, right? But if I try to say Prabhupada may not sleep 7 hours or 8 hours that we sleep, right? He may sleep like 2 or 3 hours hardly, and he is always busy in transcribing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and things like that. So if I also try to sleep 3 hours like Prabhupada, I may eventually, die. I'm not in a position like Mahabhagavat where I can, I sleep like 2 hours or 3 hours and then live peacefully or chant peacefully. So I'm not in that position. So if I try to do or follow great acharyas' actions, then that probably might be imitation. But if I pick up their verbal instructions and then try to, follow in your life, then that, apply in your life, that might be following. Like, for example, like what Prabhu also mentioned the other day, whatever great man does, common people follow. Like in Bhagavad Gita is like, instructions coming from Lord Sri Krishna. So our purpose is to, our job is to following according to the instructions given in the Bhagavad Gita. But actually people take it the other way. Like, Krishna married, thousands of women and he has performed Rasa Leela, and what's wrong if I do it? So yeah, that's where you're trying to do others' great man or great, actions when you are actually not from inside. So that is where the little bit of, that's where you draw the line. Like Prabhu was explicitly asking, drawing the line. So pick up the verbal instructions and then apply in your life. That is following. And if you try to apply their behavior when you are not actually not on that level, that probably might be imitation. That's where I see we need to draw the line.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your responses. But if someone just sees someone doing rounds of beads and starts doing that, sorry, you're not hearing me?
I'm
Mataji?
sorry, I've got traffic. My husband's just walked back into the house and carry on.
Okay. My question was from when someone doesn't know the principles,
Right.
doesn't have the instructions, hasn't been told by anyone, but he just sees someone doing it.
Yeah.
And he starts, okay, let me, by his own consciousness, starts doing it without instruction, without principles, without being perfect. Like Ajamil, he just said Narayan, and Lord came to save him. So sometimes, is it necessary? And I'm trying to phrase my question here.
That might help.
Yeah. Doesn't have to imitation or following. I don't think there is a line. If someone is still praising Lord, then whether it's imitation or following, I would still consider the Lord himself considers them as his devotee, then redefining that as imitation and that as following.
Prabhu,
That's my
Mataji,
thoughts.
Prabhu, it's a feeling, it's nothing following nor this thing, it's a feeling.
And in actuality, there's been a lot of information given on today's class, but then also on your question too, which says that it is very subjective. And you just said that yourself too, Shailendra. It's a subjective thing. And how we define the difference between, if we're just imitating without understanding, or whether it's actually, we are making some serious spiritual progress. It will be down to every individual and each circumstance, for sure. And of course, your faith, what path you believe in, who you follow, that will be important. So conscious of the time, I'd like to end there.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Sorry. Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam. Just one point, Shailendra Prabhu. See, the point that you're talking about chanting is that the soul, that is the nature of the soul, the activity of the soul automatically. If you're talking about things which are not related to the position of the soul as the eternal servant of Krishna, then there is. But also the other thing comes into question. Okay, you can chant, but can you chant like Haridas Thakur for 24 hours? If somebody makes a show of that just for others, that is imitation. But if you have come up to that level and actually practicing at that level, that is not imitation. So what Acharyas have always told us is, therefore, first follow the instruction, try to practice, come up to that level. That is okay. But don't try to show off before you have reached that perfection. There is, in everything there is there. See, somebody may be trained as a doctor, but training as a doctor does not allow him to perform all kinds of surgeries. He can do certain things. If he tries to do something else, he is called an imitator. You cannot argue, oh, he is a doctor, why can't he perform? No. So in everything, there is a question of what is your ability in that. If you don't have an ability to sustain and do it for long, you cannot claim I can do anything, and that is not imitation. No. You have to look at both aspects of it and then understand where you are standing. It's not for somebody else to tell you that you are an imitator. It is more for you. Most of spiritual practices and instructions given are for you to evaluate yourself and see where you stand. Okay?
Nice, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much.
Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all. Very, very nice. I actually wanted to mention too that today, the 25th of August in 2022, I took my Diksha initiation from Her Grace Narayani Mataji, the first female Diksha Guru within ISKCON. And yes, that occurred over Zoom. So today is my 4th anniversary of Diksha.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare
Very, very
Krishna.
grateful.
Hare Krishna.
Very grateful to
All
Narayani
glories
Mataji
to Narayani Mataji.
and Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON.
Hare Krishna.
This blessing. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining class today. Thank you very much for participating. It's really quite energetic when a really nice question is asked. Shailendra, thank you very much. And to the devotees who all responded with wonderful answers, I'm very, very grateful for your contributions also. So we'll end there. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Our
Hare
grace
Krishna.
Jamuna Devi
Tomorrow,
Dasi ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna devotees, tomorrow is His Holiness Vedavyas Priya Maharaj's Vyas Puja at the temple. We kindly request all of you to come. Program starts at 5 o'clock in the evening. So please come. Hare Krishna.
We will.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Haribol.